the Jubilee is coming. Oh, the Jubilee is coming. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. There's nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. Oh. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. Well, that's a pretty song. And but what exactly is love? It's one of the most common things to write about in popular music. And often when we say, I love this book. This book is so great. Or I love this dress, or I love John Lennon, or I love the Beatles, or I love that artist. Often we make a mistake in so doing. Because love, at its root, is an intransitive verb. And it's a very obscure way to put it, but intransitive is a property of verbs. And what it means is that a verb is transitive if it is like, let's say the verb to catch. Well, you catch something. If a verb requires there to be an object in order, it's like if you just say, I catch, I mean, there might be some slang where that could be understood in the intransitive sense, but for the most part, that verb requires there to be an object for you to catch, okay? So, if, with love, however, we don't necessarily, like, love is a return to duality. Love is a return to unity. Love is a letting go. And so we can only really say, I love. We can't say, I love that thing, because that's really, I prefer that thing, or I desire that thing, or I want that thing. So let's talk about duality. There is only one thing in the universe, and that is God. And God is infinite, and we cannot exist outside of God. We are like software that runs on the hardware of God. We are actually the hardware, but we are just a pattern of God that exists in God. And so, God can get bored, or maybe want something more entertaining. So God invents something like a game of hide and seek, where parts of God will say, okay, we're going to hide, and then, okay, you count to 100, and we'll go hide, and then you try to find us. And so those pieces of God, they rush away from God, and they hide in a closet beneath some clothes, and they're very quiet, and it's a big game, because just being with God is fun, but it adds spice to life if we disappear sometimes and we play hide and seek with God. But what has happened is that sometimes if you're playing hide and seek, you might go hide, and then you forget that you're playing hide and seek. And you just become attached to the walls around you. And you know what? You can sort of play like you are the only thing in the universe by going and hiding in your mind. And we originally existed in the heart, and we have retreated in a game of hide and seek into the mind. And this is all part of the joyful game of life. This is not to be feared. There is a beautiful, beautiful thing about playing hide and seek with God. It adds beautiful spice to life because then we can impress God with our exciting surprises. Like God might say, wow, you did a really good job of hiding. And so, but the problem right now for a lot of people is that they have forgotten that they're playing a cosmic game of hide and seek. And so, in order to truly love, they must return to the unity of being with the cosmic infinite. And I have done that. And I will continue to go in the direction of the infinite. On Earth, it can be very difficult to say, I'm not playing hide and seek anymore. We retreated into where we are now, and we hid from God, and we put walls up, and we said, this is a really good hiding place. But then some people snuck in from God and say, hey, I talked to God, and I unhid myself, and I talked to God, and he has this message for you that you might be getting yourself in trouble by hiding this much. And there might be a day when the fact that you're so hidden becomes your Achilles heel, and the whole thing collapses, and then you're just stuck alone. And that was a very dangerous thing to say, and a very frightening thing to hear to those people who had forgotten that we were playing a game of cosmic hide and seek. Anyone can be found by God. When Jesus said, seek and ye shall find, that is what he meant. Let's take the example of someone like Aretha Franklin. I consider her to be a beautiful, enlightened soul. And I believe that what she and others like herself in her community and doing similar artistic things in the 20th century, they were coming out of their hiding place and they were making a joyful noise to try and attract God and say, oh, I don't want to play anymore, I want to come back. And by singing beautifully and loudly and powerfully and attracting that power, they made a joyful noise and they danced for God, even though they couldn't see God at first. But then God came, and God came into her voice and lifted her voice. And with even myself, I didn't really know how to sing like soul singing until I took the risk of trying. And then God came to my voice and helped me to sing in that way. And I learned it literally like in just the last few years. And see, that was the beautiful miracle that I had found God again. And in a way, I had resurrected God within myself. God is so infinite that there are many descriptions of the truth. But one description that is very salient and poignant and good for now is that we must resurrect God in our hearts by using our minds to stop hiding, to come out of our closets where we hid in our cosmic game of hide and seek. And we must rush out, and we must make a loud, proud, joyful noise and just try to reach divinity. And if we do that, and if we become the congregation cheering for our own heart, God will come out of our heart and say, I found you. Oh, somebody died today. All you ever had is in the middle of your soul. You never needed all the money to eradicate the whole. Oh, somebody died today. All you ever had is in the middle of your soul. You never needed all the money to eradicate the whole. All you ever had is in the middle of your soul. You never needed all the money to eradicate the whole.